Rachel and Nikki from the Stitch Sisters here, and we are bringing you an extra little tutorial this week to show you how I make my hairbands.
We've asked a lot, haven't we?
Yes, we have. A lot of my pictures on Instagram, I'm often wearing one of these. I make them from my Jersey scraps, and yeah, lots of people have said, how do you make them? We do a tutorial, so we thought we'd do a quick one. So Nikki is also wearing one of mine today as well.
Yes, because I've not got any
This is the one I wear most often. This is the knot on the top. It's inspired by one from Anthropology.
Yeah.
I just think it's really nice for when you don't want to make much of an effort with your hair.
Yeah.
But you want to add a little pop of colour to what you're wearing.
Absolutely.
Another little accessory. But like I said, it's a good way to use up your leftover scraps. So for all of these, all you need is a strip of jersey that's roughly 6 inches wide and somewhere between 24 and 28 inches long, depending on the size of your head.
Yeah. And it has to be stretch fabric, so anything stretchy.
Yes.
Jerseys, lycra, anything like
stretch
that.
fabric just means it's easy to get on and off. So before you can work out exactly what size of scrap you need, the best thing to do is measure your head. And what you want to do is take a tape measure, and you want to run it around where the headband's going to go. So have it at the base of your hairline, and then have it come up over your ears, roughly in the position where you would wear your hairband.
Yes.
Take that measurement. And then depending on what style you're making, you'll want to add either a couple of inches or you're going to double it.
Okay.
And we will show you both options.
Yes.
Now. So the first one I'm going to show you is this knot one that I'm wearing here, as inspired by ones that you can buy in Anthropology. And for that you just need one strip of jersey that is roughly 6 inches wide, although you can go a little bit thinner or a little bit thicker if you need to. And then this one is 26 inches long. My head circumference is 22, so it's just a few extra inches to allow me to tie that knot, okay? It couldn't be more simple. You're literally going to take your jersey and you're going to fold it in half on the long edge, and then you're going to stitch that long edge together to make a tube. Now, the great thing about this is there's no visible stitching on the outside, so it doesn't matter what thread you've got in your machine, just go ahead and stitch it. I'm going to do it with edge of my foot probably in terms of seam allowance, so 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. It will all determine how wide you want your headband to be. So if you've got a narrower strip, you might want to go smaller with your seam allowance. If you've got a wider strip, you might want to go bigger. So I'm just going to go ahead and stitch that using a stretch stitch. Any stretch stitch on your machine, the lightning bolt, the triple stitch, or if you want to, just use a long standard stitch. So make sure it's a 4 or something, and then it should still have a little bit of give in it. So I've stitched that seam. It should be big enough for you to be able to turn it through without too much trouble. So just going to turn it right sides out. You can use a loop turner if you need to, but because it's a bit stretchy, you should just be able to reach in and pull it through. Here we are. Right. So, well, actually not quite.
Haha.
Haha. So, turn it through, and then what you want to do is position it so that your seam is in the centre on one of the sides. Doesn't matter which way around. So make sure your seam is on the back, and then you're simply going to tie a knot. So to do that, literally wrap it around your hand and then reach through and grab it, making sure that as you pull it through, you twist it so that your seam is on the back, so that it remains on the back on both sides, both halves. Now you just need to adjust the knot until it looks like something that you're happy with. It can be as big or as small as you like, that's entirely up to you. Then you just need to put it on your head and test the fit. It should stretch a little bit. I'm not sure how the double headband is looking right now.
Looks fun.
But once you're happy with the fit, all you need to do is take one end and tuck it under just by 1/2 inch or so. Then take your other end and feed it inside so that you've created an overlap like this.
Match those stripes, lady.
Take a minute just to match the stripes if you want to. You will be able to see it at the base of your hairline, and make sure you've got it all tucked in nicely. And then finally, all you're going to do is stitch across there to secure it. I like to do it twice just to make sure it's nice and strong. So I stitch over it and then I reverse all the way back. So that's it. I've stitched the back seam, got my knot at the top, and it's ready to wear. There's a couple of things that you can do just to stop. So if you want to be able to adjust it, you can leave the knot as it is. That allows you to make it smaller some days and bigger other days. But if you're really happy with your knot and you don't want it to move, then just hand stitch a couple of anchoring stitches on the back where you can't see it, and that will stop it from being able to get bigger and smaller as you put it on. That's the first option done.
So this time we're going to make a tie one. So this one it's just one long strip of jersey. These ones are better suited to the thinner type t-shirt jerseys, because if it's thick you can't make a very good bow in it. So this one will be one long length that you tie around the top of your head. So I've got my length of jersey here, which was 6 inches, just like we did previously. But before I start, what I want to do is I'm going to cut a little triangle off each end. Now it doesn't matter how much you cut off, it depends how sharp a point you want. So I'm just going to cut a section off here. I'm going to cheat and take my little cut off section across to the other side and use that as my template so I can get them roughly the same. There we go. Once we've done that, so we've got 2 pointy ends, and we're going to sew from the corner down and then across. This time we'll leave a little turning hole in the middle. You only need 2 or 3 inches because it's quite pliable, you can get your hands in. Just make sure you do a reverse when you stop and when you start each section. So I'll go ahead and sew that now with a stretch stitch. Okay, so I'm all done. I've stitched along the pointy edges and into the middle. I've left a little turning hole in the middle. So I'm going to reach in. Oh, amazing. She wants to come on my knee, but she can't.
Right. She wants to be in all our videos.
She does. Someone said the other day, it's not a Stitch Sisters video without a little cameo from me. Which is lovely. You'll maybe get her up at the end. Right, so I'm going to just grab a point turner and poke out my little corners because I want them pointy. I guess you could carve it as well, couldn't you? So you could have it more as a curve rather than as a actual point.
Yeah, any shape you want.
Any shape you want, do what you like. And then once we have poked out all of our corners, I'm just going to stitch up my hole and then it's ready to wear. It's that simple. So I'm starting with it around my neck. Now that I've finished sewing it, I'm just going to show you how to tie it. So I'm going to bring it up around my neck, this isn't my neck, they're on my head, and I'm going to stretch it, and it is really stretchy. That's why these ones are great for t-shirt jersey. Put it in one little bow, and again you can stretch the ends again, and then just tie it again like that, and you can make it as big or as small as you like, and you can place it wherever you like on your head, and then you're ready to go. You can also leave it like that. Once it's been tied, you can then just take it off. But I quite like tying them every time I do it. Makes it nice and tight.
Okay, so the third and final variation I'm going to show you, Urban Headband, and it's great for when you've got longer strips of jersey. You can cut it to twice your head measurement in terms of length, or you can just test it out for yourself. And the way you do that is to stitch it together at the back as you did for the first one, and then tie it around your head, and then twist it around twice and bring it back down to the bottom so that you can work out the fit. But when it comes to sewing it, you're just going to sew it exactly like you did the other one. It's just a longer tube. We're not tying a knot in it first. We're just going to tuck one end in, and then we're going to pop the other end inside and stitch them together. Once I've stitched them, I'll come back and show you how to wear it. So now you've sewn it, so you just need to hold the seam in one hand and hold the other end with the other hand, and then twist it twice. Then you can bring the ends together, and that is going to create this knot at the front there. And then you can just pop it on, just like that. Yay! So there you have it, 3 different headbands you can make with your jersey scraps. And just jazz up any outfit.
Yes. Guess what I'm going to be doing all afternoon? Making headbands.
Yes. So we would love, if you decide to make any of these, we would love to see your versions. So if you post them anywhere on social media, use the hashtag Stitch Sisters Headband.
Yay.
And then we will be able to find them.
Fabulous. We'll see you next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.